Hey, welcome to this home buyer seminar. I'm Tom Gibbons, mortgage loan officer here in Rhode Island with PRMG. If you're watching this, you're probably thinking about buying a home somewhere in Rhode Island. Maybe your first place, maybe a move up, maybe you're relocating in from out of state. Wherever you're starting from, this is for you. Over the next half hour or so, I want to walk you through exactly how home financing works here in Rhode Island. I'm going to talk to you just the same way with the same information I'd walk a client through in a one-on-one meeting. By the end, you're going to know exactly what your options are and exactly what to do next. So let's get into it. Now, before we get into the numbers, I want to make sure this actually applies to you because I know everyone watching is coming from a different place. Maybe you're a first time buyer, and honestly, the whole process feels like a mystery right now. You don't even know what questions to ask. Maybe you've owned a home before, but it's been a few years, and the rates and prices today don't match what you remember the last time you did this. Maybe you already know exactly which Rhode Island town you want to be in, and you just need a lender who actually knows the area, not someone reading off a script or out of state, or maybe you're not even sure you're ready to buy. You just want real numbers so you can start planning. Honestly, all four of those are completely valid reasons to be here. My goal for you is no matter which one you are, is that by the end of this, you walk away knowing exactly what the next step is and what home ownership actually costs. So let's move on to the next slide. Quick word about who I am and why this matters. I'm Tom Gibbons, mortgage loan officer based in Providence, Rhode Island, and I work with buyers all over the state, Providence County, Kent County, Washington County, down in South County, Newport County, and Bristol County. I'm not a call center voice you randomly get assigned to. When you work with me, you're working with someone who actually knows these towns, who grew up in Rhode Island. I work with every major loan type, conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, non-QM. And here's the important part. I don't walk in trying to sell you one specific product. My approach is consultative, meaning I ask questions first, understand your full situation, and then we figure out together which loan actually fits your needs. Behind me is PRMG. We're a direct lender, which means we do our own processing and underwriting in-house. That matters because it means fewer handoffs, fewer delays, and faster answers when you need them. So here's exactly how we're going to spend our time together. And I built this in the order that buyers actually need it, not the order that's the easiest for me to talk about, but what's best for you. First, we'll do a quick, honest check on where the Rhode Island market actually stands right now. Real numbers, not hype, not salesy. Second, I want to tackle the myths and money worries that I hear over and over again, the things that stop buyers from even starting. Third, we'll get into the real framework for figuring out what you can actually afford. This is the heart of the whole presentation. Fourth, I'll walk you through your financing options here in Rhode Island, including loan types and down payment assistance. Fifth, we'll map out the entire path from pre-approval to getting your keys, so nothing catches you off guard. And last, I'll give you a clear, no pressure way to turn everything you just learned into your own personal number this week. Let's start with where things stand today. Let's start with the market itself because it's important to ground this in reality before we talk about your specific situation. I'm not here to tell you it's the best time ever to buy, and I'm not here to scare you either. I just want you to see the actual numbers so you can make a clear headed decision. Let's look at four numbers that frame the Rhode Island market right now. Statewide, the median home value is right around $450,000, but I want to be really clear, that's a statewide blend. Coastal towns like Newport or Jamestown run well above that. Rhode Island's homeownership rate sits at about 62%, which tells you most people here do own rather than rent. Homeownership is very achievable in this state. The conforming loan limit for 2026 is $832,750 across every county in Rhode Island. That's the line where a loan stops being a standard conventional loan and starts being what's called a jumbo loan, which matters mostly if you're shopping in higher priced coastal markets. And we've got five counties to work with: Providence, Kent County, Washington County, Newport County, and Bristol County, each with its own personality and price points. But here's the honest truth. None of these statewide numbers are really about you. What actually matters is your personal number, what you qualify for, and what you're comfortable paying. That's exactly what we're going to dig into next. Let's talk about rates for a second, because I know this is the thing everybody obsesses over. Rates move constantly. daily. And if you're waiting around for the perfect rate, you could end up waiting through several entire home buying seasons while prices keep climbing in the meantime. Here's what I want you to understand. Your rate gets locked in on the day you actually lock it, and it's based on your credit, your down payment, and your loan type, not whatever headline you saw in the news that morning. Also, a lot of buyers overestimate how much a small rate difference actually changes their monthly payment. It's real, but it's usually smaller than people assume. And it's definitely smaller than the cost of waiting another year while home prices keep rising. And if rates do drop later, refinancing is a well-worn, completely normal path. But buying the home you actually need right now isn't something you get to undo as easily. So instead of chasing the best rate in America, the question I want you asking is, what payment fits my lifestyle comfortably for the next several years? That's the conversation we have together. I'll show you exactly how rate, long term, and down payment each move the number up or down. Now let's talk about what actually stops qualified buyers from starting this process. In my experience, it's almost never a real financial barrier. It's a myth or a misunderstanding. Let's clear a few of those things up right now. Okay, so let's bust these four myths that I hear constantly. Myth one is I need 20% down to buy a house. That's not true for most buyers. Depending on the loan type, you might qualify with as little as 3 to 3.5% down. Myth two is my credit isn't good enough. There are qualified financing paths well below the credit score most people assume they need. Don't rule yourself out before we even look at your numbers. Myth three, I make too much or too little to get any help. Down payment assistance and flexible loan programs exist nationwide across a wide range of incomes. It's worth checking regardless of where you think you fall. And myth four, this one's important. Getting approved means I'm committed to something. A pre-approval is just information. It's not an obligation. It's literally the only risk-free way to find out your real number. If any of these myths have been the thing quietly holding you back, I want to let you know right now because none of them are actually true for most buyers. Before any number on a screen actually means anything, I want you to sit with a few questions, the same ones I'd ask you face to face in a consultation. First, what does your life look like in 5 years, and does this home actually fit that picture? Second, what monthly payment lets you keep saving, keep traveling, keep breathing, not just barely qualify on paper? Third, is this really about a specific town or school district, or is it more about timing and price? And fourth, and honestly the most important one, what's actually stopped you from starting this process before now? I ask that last one because usually the answer is fear of the unknown, not an actual financial obstacle. And once we name what's been holding you back, it almost always turns out to be smaller than it felt. Okay, so this is the part everyone's really here for. How much can you actually afford? I'm going to give you the real framework, not some made up rule of thumb you saw on social media. Numbers really decide what you qualify for, and we'll walk you through every single one of these in detail during your actual consultation. But here's the shape of it. First is your income, and I mean stable, documentable income. That includes overtime, bonus pay, and self-employment income too, as long as it's structured the right way on paper. Second, debt. Specifically your debt to income ratio, not just your gut feeling about your monthly bills. This is actually one of the most movable numbers we work with because there are strategies to improve it before you even apply. Third is your down payment, the cash you're bringing to the table, plus any gift funds or assistance you might qualify for. This affects your rate, your monthly payment, and even which loan types are available for you. And fourth, credit. Your score opens up or narrows down your loan options and your pricing. And here's something I'll tell you right now. Most people's credit is in better shape than they think it is. Put those four together, and that's how you land on your real personal number, not a guess. Let's break down what's actually inside your monthly mortgage payment because a lot of buyers think it's just one number when really it's four pieces stacked together. This breakdown is illustrated. Your real numbers depend on your loan type, your town, and the rate you lock. but the shape of it holds true for almost everyone. The biggest piece, usually around 60% or more, is principal and interest. That's paying down your actual loan balance and the cost of borrowing the money. This is the piece your interest rate directly affects. Next is property taxes, and this one varies a lot here in Rhode Island depending on which city or town you're in. It's one of the bigger differences between, say, Providence and a town in South County. Then there's homeowners insurance, which protects the property itself. And if you're looking at a coastal or flood zone home, just know you may need additional coverage there. And finally, mortgage insurance, which only applies on certain loan types below certain down payment thresholds. Plenty of buyers don't pay this at all, depending on how they structure their loan. Once you see it broken down like this, it stops feeling like one big scary number and it starts feeling like something you can actually plan around. Now let's talk about your actual financing options here in Rhode Island. I want to be upfront. There's no single best loan that I push on every client. The best loan is the one that fits your specific situation, and that's what we'll figure out. Now here's a quick rundown of loan types that Rhode Island buyers use most. Conventional loans typically need as low as 3% down, and they're a great fit if you've got strong credit and steady income. Plus, the mortgage insurance actually drops off once you've built enough equity. FHA loans need 3.5% down, and they're more forgiving on credit scores and savings. The trade-off is that mortgage insurance is built into the loan for the life of it in most cases. VA loans are for veterans, active duty service members, and eligible spouses, and the standout feature is zero down payment required for eligible borrowers. USDA loans also offer zero down, and they're available in eligible rural and suburban areas. And honestly, more Rhode Island towns qualify for this than most people expect, so don't assume you're not eligible without checking. And jumbo loans come into play for homes above that $832,750 conforming limit. You'll see these most often in places like Newport, Jamestown, and East Greenwich. And one more thing I want to flag here is down payment assistance programs may be available PRMG through correspondent lenders, and we have them as resources to help reduce the cash you need up front. We'll review exactly what you might qualify for when you talk with me. I want to spend a moment here because this might be the single most important slide for a lot of you. Down payment assistance is real, and it's a lot more common than most buyers assume. State and local assistance programs do exist specifically to help reduce the amount of cash you need up front to buy a home. These programs exist because affordable homeownership matters to the state. Gift funds from family members are also allowed on many loan types as long as they're properly documented. So if a parent or relative wants to help, there's usually a legitimate path for that. Now, I'll be straight with you. Grant and assistance programs change frequently, and eligibility depends on your income, where you're buying, and your loan type. That's exactly why I'm not naming the specific programs in a video like this. The details do shift, sometimes year to year. The only real way to know what you personally qualify for is a one-on-one review, and that's exactly what a consultation with me is for. Don't assume you don't qualify. Let's actually check. Let's talk about what the actual process looks like start to finish. I want to demystify this completely so nothing surprises you along the way. Here's the 5-step path from where you are right now to keys in your hand. Step 1 is pre-approval. You'll share your financials with me, and I give you a real number, usually within 24 to 48 hours. Step 2 is the home search. And this is where being pre-approved really pays off because sellers and agents take a pre-approved buyer seriously. Step 3, your offer gets accepted. At that point, we lock your rate at the right time and move your full application forward. Step 4 is underwriting. This is a verification and the appraisal, and I want you to know I keep you updated through every bit of it, so you're never left wondering what's happening. And step 5 is closing day. You sign the loan funds and you get your keys. Welcome home. Generally speaking, once you're under contract, most Rhode Island buyers go from pre-approval to closing day in about 30 to 45 days, though that depends on your specific loan type and the property itself. If you want to make your pre-approval go as smoothly and quickly as possible, here's what's helpful to have ready. Recent pay stubs from the last 30 days. Plus your W-2s or 1099s from the last 2 years. Bank statements covering at least 2 months for any accounts you'll use for down payment or reserves. Basic ID information, your driver's license, your social security number, your address history. Tax returns, especially important if you're self-employed or your income varies month to month. But honestly, if you don't have all this gathered yet, don't let that stop you from reaching out. Start the conversation anyway, and I'll tell you exactly what's still needed. 5 minutes of prep now genuinely saves you days later in the process. So we've covered a lot of ground. Now let's talk about what to actually do with everything we just learned. Let's quickly recap everything we covered because I want this to actually stick. You now know where the Rhode Island market actually stands today, real numbers, not hype, and what they actually mean for your specific budget. You know that 20% down and perfect credit are not the bar that most people think they are. Those myths are largely untrue. You know the four pillars that drive your real affordability number: income, debt, down payment, and credit. You know your loan options: conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, non-QM, and that assistance programs do exist that can lower the cash you need to close. And you know the 5 clear steps that take you from pre-approval all the way to keys in your hand. The only thing left now is turning all of this into your own personal number. And that happens in a real conversation, not in a video. Let's talk about how to make that happen. Let's find your actual number. I offer a free, no pressure consultation, and I mean that genuinely. It's built around your goals, not some sales script I'm trying to push you through. You've got a few easy ways to reach me. You can book a consultation directly with me, 30 minutes on your schedule, where we sit down and go through your specific numbers together. You can call me directly if you'd rather just talk through your situation today. Questions are always welcome. Or if you'd rather start in writing, send me an email with your situation and I'll follow up with real concrete next steps. You can also go to my website and click the Apply Now button and start filling out your application. Again, I'm Tom Gibbons, mortgage loan officer with PRMG here in Rhode Island. However you reach out, I'm looking forward to helping you figure out exactly where you stand and helping you get the keys to your dream home. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today, whether you're in Providence, down in Newport, Narragansett, North Kingstown, East Greenwich, Cranston, Warwick, wherever you are in Rhode Island. Whenever you're ready to take the next step, I'm here to help. Just a quick note before we go, this presentation was for general educational purposes, and the numbers and programs I mentioned are illustrative and subject to change. So reach out to me directly for current personalized information based on your situation. I'm Tom Gibbons with PRMG. I hope you have a wonderful day and found value in this presentation.